Blade vs. Andrew Bennett, Vampire Hunters Fight. Welcome back to another epic showdown. Today, we're diving into the dark and thrilling world of vampire hunters. On one side, we have the Daywalker himself, Blade from Marvel Comics. On the other, the centuries-old vampire-turned-hunter, Andrew Bennett from DC Comics. Both are iconic figures with a reputation for taking down the undead. So, the big question is, who would win in a battle between Blade and Andrew Bennett? Let's get into it. Background of Blade. Born as Eric Brooks in London, his story is nothing short of tragic yet fascinating. Imagine this. His mother, while giving birth to him, is attacked and bitten by a vampire named Deacon Frost. This horrific event passes on some vampiric traits to baby Eric, setting him on a path he never asked for. Growing up, he realizes he's different, and not just because of the vampire thing. He's got some serious skills. Blade isn't your typical vampire. He's what's known as a Daywalker. That means he has all the strengths of vampires but none of their weaknesses. Enhanced speed, strength, agility, and senses. He's basically a superhuman. An accelerated healing factor. He can recover from injuries faster than you can say, vampire bite. Expertise in martial arts and a master of weaponry, swords, guns, you name it, he's got it. Blade's resume is pretty impressive. He's taken down some heavy hitters like Deacon Frost and even Dracula himself. Talk about facing your demons, literally. He's also teamed up with big names like Spider-Man and the Avengers. When you're rolling with that crowd, you know you're a big deal. Background of Andrew Bennett. Picture this. A nobleman from the 16th century, living the high life until he's turned into a vampire. Unlike many others, he retains his humanity and fights against his darker impulses. Oh, and get this, his former lover, Mary Seward, whom he also turned, becomes his greatest adversary. Talk about relationship drama. Andrew's got the classic vampire toolkit. Superhuman strength, speed, and immortality, the usual vampire perks. Advanced shape-shifting abilities, turning into mist or bats, he's got it covered. Mastery of dark magic and necromancy, he can do some spooky stuff with spells and the undead. Despite his vampiric nature, Andrew spends his eternal life trying to right his wrongs. He fights against his own progeny to prevent vampire domination of the world. That's got to be tough. He's even aligned with the Justice League Dark to combat supernatural threats. When the going gets tough, the tough team up with other heroes. Setting the stage. Imagine a world where Marvel and DC universes collide. In this blended universe, Blade and Andrew Bennett exist side by side, each unaware of the other's mission. Catalyst for conflict. How do these two vampire hunters end up at odds? Perhaps a common enemy manipulates them, pitting them against each other. Or maybe they both set their sights on the same target, leading to a classic case of mistaken identity. Battle environment. Picture this. A gothic cityscape at midnight. The moon is full, fog rolls through the streets, and shadows dance around every corner. It's eerily silent, the perfect setting for an epic face-off. Strengths and weaknesses analysis. Blade's got some serious advantages. Immunity to sunlight and vampirism. He can walk in the daylight without breaking a sweat. Extensive combat training. He's a pro at hand-to-hand combat and weaponry. Access to advanced weaponry, silver blades, UV grenades, and all sorts of gadgets. Despite his powers, he's still part human and can be injured. He relies on a special serum to control his vampire thirst. If he skips a dose, things could get messy. Andrew brings his own set of skills to the table. Centuries of experience. He's been around the block more times than anyone else. Magical abilities and knowledge. He can cast spells and use dark magic to his advantage. Regeneration. He can heal from significant injuries, which is super handy in a fight. Classic vampire vulnerabilities. Sunlight and holy artifacts are a big no-no. He struggles with his vampire nature, which can be a bit of an internal battle. The battle begins. Blade is on the trail of a new vampire threat. He thinks he's got his target locked, but guess who he bumps into? Yep, Andrew Bennett. They both eye each other suspiciously. Neither knows who the other is, but they both sense something's off. Blade doesn't waste any time. He lunges forward with his silver sword, aiming straight for Andrew. Andrew, surprised but not unprepared, dodges with supernatural speed. It's on. Blade throws a UV grenade, lighting up the alleyway with searing ultraviolet light. Andrew hisses and retreats into the shadows, using his mist form to escape. But he's not out yet. He summons a burst of dark magic, sending Blade flying back. Blade, ever the strategist, uses the environment to his advantage. He traps Andrew in a narrow corridor. But before delivering the final blow, Andrew pleads, revealing they might be on the same side. Blade hesitates. Could this be a misunderstanding? Climax of the fight. Not convinced, Blade decides to go all out. He taps into his full Daywalker potential, his eyes glowing with determination. Andrew, sensing the imminent danger, summons ancient magic, the likes of which he hasn't used in centuries. They charge at each other, powers colliding in a spectacular display. The force of their clash causes windows to shatter and buildings to tremble. It's a stalemate, neither can gain the upper hand. But then, they both notice something strange. Realization hits them. They've been set up. A shadowy figure watches from afar, the true enemy manipulating them both. They call a truce, agreeing that teaming up might be the best option. A mutual respect forms between them. After all, who better to trust than a fellow vampire hunter? Outcome and theoretical winner. So, who would have won if they continued? Blade's combat training and adaptability are top-notch. He's faced all sorts of foes and usually comes out on top. Andrew's mystical powers give him an edge in unpredictability. Magic can be a game-changer. Arguments for Blade winning. His immunity to vampire weaknesses means Andrew's typical tricks might not work. He's a seasoned fighter with gadgets specifically designed to take down vampires. Arguments for Andrew winning. His magic could overcome Blade's physical advantages. His experience over centuries might give him insights Blade doesn't expect. In the end, it's a tough call. But if we had to pick, perhaps Blade's adaptability gives him a slight edge. Then again, Andrew's magic could tip the scales. What do you think? Possible alliances. Regardless of who might win, the idea of them teaming up is pretty awesome. Together, they could take on greater evils threatening both their worlds. Impact on Marvel and DC universes. Their clash and subsequent alliance could shake things up in both universes. Supernatural beings might think twice before causing trouble. Other heroes and villains might also get involved, leading to some epic crossover events. Fan engagement. Who do you think would win in a fight between Blade and Andrew Bennett? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get the discussion going. If you've got any fan art or theories about this matchup, share them with us. We might feature them in our next video. Conclusion. We've journeyed through the origins, powers, and epic battle between Blade and Andrew Bennett. It's been quite a ride. From their initial clash to the realization of a greater threat, it's clear that this showdown is more than just a fight. These kinds of crossover battles remind us why we love comics and storytelling. Plus, who doesn't love a good vampire hunter story? Call to action. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic content. Acknowledgements. A big shout out to all the amazing artists and writers who brought these characters to life. And, of course, thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Next episode preview. In our next video, we're pitting two legendary warriors against each other. Batman vs. Iron Man, the Battle of the Billionaires. You won't want to miss it.